One of the things that the president instructed us to do was to evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve, and so that is one of the things. That's one of the first things we're going to look at as part of the internal working group in the administration. So as soon as we get all that set up, we're still waiting for some cabinet secretaries who are on the working group to get confirmed. So we're still in the very early stages of this. But that's one of the first things we're gonna look at is the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve.
President Trump's administration got the ball rolling for a strategic Bitcoin reserve, or SBR. There's an internal working group led by crypto czar David Sachs that will look into this. This working group needs to come up with a result within 80 days. In other words, in less than 3 months, a strategic Bitcoin reserve could be official US government policy. But there's more. Sachs also mentioned a stablecoin legislation, and this is massive news. But that's not all. Yesterday, President Trump also signed another executive order, and that executive order is to create a sovereign wealth fund. Let's talk about what all these are and what they mean. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, altcoins.io, and as always, not financial advice, and wish you the best of luck in your crypto ventures. The new crypto czar, David Sachs, held a press conference yesterday, and he announced that President Trump had tasked to set up a working group, and this working group should look into the feasibility of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. But Sachs made sure not to mention the strategic crypto reserve. That is an important nuance. In case the working group decides to move ahead with a strategic Bitcoin reserve, it may be a momentary halt to a strategic crypto reserve. Currently, there are quite a few countries looking at setting up a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and is this the start of the golden crypto age? El Salvador and Bhutan are currently the only countries with a strategic reserve in place. And as a side note, Bhutan managed to do this by mining Bitcoin with natural resources. It used hydropower. Other countries that have set the wheels in motion for an SBR besides the USA are, for example, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Germany, Hong Kong, Japan, Russia, and a few more. Brazil, Switzerland, and the US now have legislation in place to take this to the next level. And besides the US as a country, many US states are now also looking into having a federal SBR. Texas wants to be the first state that achieves this. Stablecoin legislation was also on Sachs' agenda. He emphasized the importance of such regulations. It can help to keep the USD dominance worldwide intact, and so this is an important part of his agenda.
Stablecoins really have the potential to ensure American dollar dominance internationally, to increase the usage of the U.S. dollar digitally as the world's reserve currency, and in the process create potentially trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. treasuries, which could lower long-term interest rates.
Senator Loomis and Senator Hagerty also introduced the Genius Act. This is a bipartisan regulatory framework for stablecoins. This paves the way for networks that use US-based stablecoins to become more adopted. They'll also become more valuable. These networks need to be able to offer massive scalability as well as deep liquidity. Ripple, Solana, and Sui seem to be in the prime position to profit from this. And as a result, it'll become possible to receive your US salary in stablecoins. Plus, of course, all the other commercial payments will switch to stablecoins. Think of USDC and USDT and other US-based stablecoins like Ripple's RLUSD. But how will these stablecoins strengthen the US dollar? Well, it's simple really. The stablecoin issuers will start and keep buying US treasuries. This makes sure that the US dollar remains strong in the global reserve currency. Exactly what Trump wants the US dollar to be. And now to the topic of the Sovereign Wealth Fund. The previous topics I discussed are great for crypto, but the Sovereign Wealth Fund is much bigger. A strategic Bitcoin reserve focuses on one asset, Bitcoin, and even a strategic crypto reserve focuses on one asset class, which is digital assets. And in contrast, a Sovereign Wealth Fund, or SWF, allows for a more flexible framework. It allows for investment across various asset classes, for example, equities, fixed income, real estate, and commodities. So these assets are less volatile than Bitcoin. Nonetheless, Bitcoin can be a part of such a sovereign wealth fund. This caused Senator Loomis to mention that on X that this is a big deal, and she used the Bitcoin B here as well. Now, a sovereign wealth fund is a state-owned investment fund. It invests in real and financial assets such as stocks, bonds, real estate, or precious metals. It can also invest in alternative investments such as private equity funds or hedge funds. These investments can be global. They're not restricted to one country or country of origin. In the US, Texas and Alaska already have such a sovereign wealth fund. However, the US as a country never has. Furthermore, Bitcoin being part of such a fund could reshape global finance. According to K33 Research, Norway already holds indirectly Bitcoin in their sovereign wealth fund. However, the US adding this to their sovereign wealth fund would have a much larger impact. With the current pro-crypto stance in Trump's administration, adding Bitcoin is an option. However, funding such a sovereign wealth fund is a different story. The US is a net borrower. This means that it borrows more than it lends. That's where Doge and Elon Musk come into the picture. Doge could reduce or at best flip this deficit. Funding such a sovereign wealth fund would mean that the US needs to reshape its fiscal policy or find other resources. So there's very interesting times ahead. Make sure to join us on Discord and on X to discuss these topics further.